Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Nate Hatala, and I am one of the business managers here at D&H Distributing. I cover Extreme Networks, as you might be able to tell by this handsome purple shirt I have on today, right? We're really excited to be here with you today. We have two special guests, Jerry McGuire and Chris Dagney from Extreme Networks, to talk a little bit about what the opportunity is around the end of life for WiNG OS, right? And those of you that are not familiar with WiNG OS, some technology that Extreme has acquired through Motorola and then through Zebra, right? And certainly it is now going end of life, which is a great opportunity for everyone to kind of refresh his access points with their new cloud XIQ-based technology, right? So Chris and Jerry here are going to tell you a little bit about the opportunity, the benefits, and really why that's in everyone's best interest. So without further ado, I'm going to turn that over to Chris and Jerry. Welcome, guys.
Again, my name's Chris Dagney. I'm a strategic SE supporting distribution. Thankful for everybody that's joined. I appreciate the opportunity to let you understand the Extreme solution and the opportunity that I feel like you as a partner can help Extreme, grow their business, and we can grow your business, right? I've been doing networking technology for the last 25 years, supported various vendors from Cisco to HP, 3Com. I spent 8 years supporting Brocade, which Brocade became Extreme. I spent 4 years supporting Nortel, which became Extreme. And then for the last 6 years, I've been supporting Extreme. And just really excited to share you the opportunity that I see. And we're going to keep this a little bit of PowerPoint, a little bit of demo, so that and try to keep it interactive. So today's agenda, right? First, we're going to talk about the opportunity. What's it in for you, right? I always feel like that's the most important thing. That it's a 800,000 access points, right? There's 6,000 customers out there that are needing to migrate. Then we're going to talk about the WiNG migration sales play. We built an entire playbook. This is the most extensive playbook that Extreme has ever produced. It'll help you win all these WiNG customers, and it's not just WiNG customers, but other customers too, from other vendors, from upgrading Extreme. And we're going to spend a good portion on the benefits of moving to XIQ, because the entire industry is moving to a cloud SaaS subscription, contract value. We want to create reoccurring revenue for partners, for yourself, everybody. That's the way the industry is, right? I mean, I had a cell phone, used to be able to go and buy a cell phone back in the day, and now everything is on a monthly payment, right? And then we'll finish it up with the most important is, how do you beat the competitors, right? How do you knock out the Jarubas, the Ciscos, and then give you a couple case studies. Those case studies are more around enterprise, but Extreme is, we care about the customer from a couple access points all the way up to several 100,000 access points. So for those who are not familiar with Extreme, back in 2013, they bought a company in Terrasys, and that gave us our XIQ site engine, which is our incredible application that allows third management. And it helped us win the analytics powerful to win this, the NFL, the NHL, the MLB, that's part of our XIQ suite platform. And then the main focus of the webinar today is the Zebra wireless technology that we got in 2016. We've got a ton of large customers from that Zebra wireless. And so you're going to have tons of customers out there that are going to say, well, I have a Zebra or a WiNG operating system. Well, that's why I always start with this slide, right? Just to give you the history of all the different acquisitions, because your customers are going to say, hey, I have the Zebra access point, or I have the Symbol or Motorola access point. Well, that's an Extreme solution, right? And then 2017, we purchased the old Nortel / Avaya fabric, and that's one of our key differentiators in the switching. We could spend a whole day talking about that, but that's for a future topic. In the data center, We purchased the data center portion of Brocade, not the fiber channel, not the Ruckus product. Those are all separate. And then in 2019, we purchased AeroHive, and that's where we rebranded Hive Manager to XIQ or Cloud IQ. And that's where we're going to spend a ton of our focus. We're going to take our customers that have been running those Zebra technologies for years and migrate them over into the future, right? That's what we need your help with. And in 2020, we just reinvented and drove an entire solution to cloudify all of our solutions. And then the last acquisition was Impanema, which is our SD-WAN. So it gave us an entire solution from the edge Wi-Fi all the way up into the SD-WAN and connecting multiple sites together. So what is it in for you, right? That's what it's always the most important, right? So we ran some statistics and we see 817,000 access points out there that can be either upgraded or kept and migrated. So the one beauty of Extreme is that we sell a universal access point. And what does that mean, right? That means an access point that can run multiple operating systems. The multiple operating systems can run WiNG distributed, WiNG campus, or XIQ, meaning that it can connect to 3 different options, right? So the customers, if they have been purchasing them recently, they can migrate into one of our 2 different platforms, either to an on-prem or into a cloud. And then there's 6,000 plus accounts, and Extreme can't handle that all by themselves, right? So we need your help, right? And they're customers from 10 access points all the way up to 110,000, 12,000 access points, right? And the opportunity out there is when it goes end of sale and then it goes end of software maintenance. Those government agencies, right? They need to be able to have a product when a hack or a patch comes out, right? In 2 years, they're not going to be able to get that, right? And we do really well in retail and in hospitality and sports and entertainment. So these are the ideal customers that you'll see. And then you want to look for somebody that they'll have an active service contract, or they'll have maybe they've already started migrating. So some of our customers haven't completely migrated and still running a partial hybrid of a solution, but that's the one beauty of Extreme, right? We allow you to move to the cloud at your own pace, right? And what's in it for you as well? We're going to keep the benefits. We want you to be able to show them that you're a trusted advisor and help them find the right migration path. And how do we do that, right? We leverage the engineering team at D&H. I spent a ton of time training Corey and his team to help you when you reach a customer that will get you the right migration path, right? We want to retain those customers because it's easier to retain a customer than it is to move a customer, right? And then we try to make it as simplified as possible. There's tons of guides for your engineers, for the D&H team to help you work. We've even built a professional services SKU that will allow, so you can just sell this as an add-on so you don't have to be responsible for your engineers to do it if they haven't done it before, right? But moving to the cloud is so much simpler than what they're having. They're going to get so much more benefits out of it. And then we put a bunch of promotions to help you take those customers that are a little hesitant. They're going, well, I've already owned my licenses, or we got running something. Well, let's make it have it the easy button, right? And we're going to have D&H help you reach those customers. And then there's a whole marketing campaign. There's marketing webinars that will kind of help you. So we're targeting all of our customers, and they'll be reaching out and trying to and find a solution to get. And the one thing that you'll find with Extreme, right? We're more profitable than the other vendors. You're not sitting out there competing against, 100 other vendors that are selling brand C or brand H, right? You'll find yourself to be able to make 10, 20 points of margin.
Hey, Chris, appreciate this so far. So again, everybody, I'm Jerry McGuire. I'm the distribution partner account manager. So I'm Extreme Badge covering D&H. And it's been a great partnership with D&H. But as Chris continues to go through this, I think the common theme you're going to see is that, Extreme really cares about simplicity as well as flexibility. We understand partner profitability is important. Increasing your annual recurring revenue is important to each one, every one of you within your organizations. So how do we help you do that? But also for your customers, right? How do we simplify their life? So again, as we go through this, just think of those two common themes, because I think it's important to always kind of keep those in mind. So Chris, thank you for letting me do that quick introduction and jumping in there for you.
Oh, perfect. Thank you, Jerry. Yeah. So, we built this playbook, and then, like I mentioned, this is the most extensive playbook out there. It's going to be one of the things that you'll receive at the end of this webinar, but it just a quick highlight, right? What it is, right? We want you to know that the WiNG controllers, basically a controller is a device that manages a bunch of access points. We announced it in June. It's going into sale in 2024 of October, and then into software support in 2026. So we want you to help. We need your help to help retain all those WiNG customers, and then we give you all the information of what to say to the customers. There's tons of enablement videos. There's tons of training for your sales reps, for your engineers, to help with those migration paths, and how you overcome those objections, right? And tons of financing options that make it easy and simplify, that take the CapEx and OpEx, to switch it from CapEx to OpEx, right? And then we're going to spend a good portion of this webinar, showing you the value of moving to Cloud IQ, right? And why Extreme's cloud is the best in the industry. And then our universal licensing, it's a lot of customers and partners complain about licensing, and and in all the competitors, they have a license for this and a license for that. And if you need this feature or that feature, it gets really complex, right? And what if you could have a simple license, one license to rule them all, right? And then we'll just end it up, what you do, how you get the customers, how we'll talk about how the different promotions and can kind of help your either engineers get familiar with the product, or can actually, get the product in the customer's hands, and then they can start testing out the cloud and see how easy it is. Because once they see how easy it is, right, that'll be the how you win those deals. So the main point of the no, right, the hardware appliances and the virtual, so the hardware physical servers of a controller and the actual virtual option are going into sale in October of 2024. The actual physical boxes went in July. So after that date, you will not be able to purchase any more licensing. So if you have a customer that's going to stay on WiNG for a while, then they can purchase some licenses ahead of time, and then they can still even purchase one of our current APs and still run it with their old solution as they would migrate. So we're big at letting customers migrate at their own pace, right? And then you can choose from Wi-Fi 6, 6E, or 7, and move them over. The preferred method is XIQ, but we do have XIQ controller, which is an on-prem option. If you have a very large, dense site, and just work with D&H engineering team, and they'll help you qualify whether that customer needs to go to XIQ, or if there's any reason why they should still look at XIQ controller, right? So say if you have like a nuclear power plant or someplace that doesn't have internet access, or they're really opposed to going to cloud, right? We do have an option for them. And then we want to try and make it simple and cost effective for your partners, right? Because today's challenges, right? The cost in the migration it's going to be a headache, right? But we're trying to make it simple. We're trying to make it the easy button. And if you look at the way they had to do it before, and when they see the new solution, it'll just make their mind blown, right? And Wi-Fi is just getting more and more devices are getting on the network. We're starting to see augmented reality training, augmented reality learning, video streaming over Wi-Fi, right? And then there's just not enough IT techs out there, right? There's a global IT shortage. Well, the problem with WiNG operating system is it's a very basics web GUI that's a little bit cumbersome. You might have to do some command line, right? And then it doesn't support any of our newer access points, so that they won't have any future path, right? And there's no AI or secure AI ops or any kind of machine learning. And that's where the industry is moving, right? It's all about making your network simpler and taking that machine learning and using that artificial intelligence to solve the day-to-day problems that the network admins are out there, with instant onboarding, without having to send a tech to one location to set up an AP, right? You can go into the cloud, build out everything that you need, send just a regular tech or a handyman to go out and put the access point in the ceiling, and the AP will pop right up and be configured because you built everything out in the cloud. And then let's talk about Extreme's strategy, right? So we talk about this all the time: one cloud, one network, one Extreme. Well, one cloud, we want you to have everything managed up in the cloud, one simple sign-on, all your applications up there, not have to go where a lot of the competitors, right? You have to go to this application, you might have to go to this application to do that, or you might have to go to that application to do this, right? And then all your hardware, your wired, your wireless, your software-defined WAN area and networking, even your third-party devices can be monitored in the cloud and managed on-prem. Even your IoT devices, we're seeing, the digital transformation. Everybody's putting more and more, like I mentioned, more and more devices are going onto the network. One of the biggest wins was the Kroger. And I thought one of the coolest things is they got a sensor to put over the fruit that can actually detect if the fruit is going to go bad. So that we're actually onboarding that IoT sensor through the Wi-Fi, and we're not the IoT device, but we can kind of help see the visualization of that IoT device and help troubleshoot that, right? And that's what it's about.
Chris, what's cool too is you mentioned Kroger, right? And listen, I get a lot of you might not be selling to large enterprise organizations like that, but we're seeing small and mid-sized businesses do that. We're seeing cigar, locations where they're obviously able to manage the air, wine locations, make sure that the temperature is at a certain degree. So there's so many examples, right, of small and mid-sized businesses wanting to be able to utilize that data and really make sure that, their product's going to be able to last and that everything is kind of working the way it's supposed to. So it's pretty cool you brought up that story there. But some of those small and mid-sized businesses, how they're utilizing that technology today too.
One I heard one was bars, right? So just the kegs are now actually have sensors on them that can actually detect if they're low, and you just automatically orders a new beer, right? There's trash cans. There's the big belly trash cans, right? That different cities have, that you just detect if the trash can is full. Instead of sending the trash man to different locations, they can detect if that trash is full or not, right? And then Extreme plays well in the sandbox, right? We have a large ecosystem of multiple vendors that that are available to integrate with our solution. We have multiple services to help, with the professional services. And then we have different leasing or network infrastructures of a service to help with the payment plans that take that CapEx and move it over to OpEx. And then this just is a great slide to just give you the visualization of, remember we talked about all those different vendors that we acquired. We actually integrated all the solutions. So if we look at the first one, XIQ Site Engine, that's from Enterasys. That's our tool that manages devices on-prem and third-party devices, has rich analytics. It goes up in XIQ. Same license for XIQ Site Engine. XIQ Controller, that's the on-prem version. Extreme wireless solution goes in all of our stadiums, large hospitals, and same license goes into Connecta. It's an on-prem option. If you look at the next one, it's WiNG. That's the one that's going away. So it's still, we made it connect to XIQ Connect Controller cloud, and you can get visibility, right? So you can help your customers migrate slowly, but that's the one we're made it. And Intuitive Insights, so we can manage third-party devices like Zebra handhelds, right? And then all your wired, wireless, SD-WAN, Fabric, all those things are unified and you only pay for that license once, right? And that's the key thing. And it's a simple one license for all the additional values. And so let's pop into a little demo and break up the PowerPoint. So give me 1 second to pull that up.
Hey, Chris, while you're doing that, I see, Chris, real quick, I see a question in here. So it says, I have a VX9000 with many hundreds of APs on it. Can they be ported to cloud somehow, or do they need to be replaced? APs are 75XX/75XX.
So the 75XX will not move to cloud. So those are Wi-Fi 5 access points and been around for a long time. But yeah, so that would have to be, you'd have to replace the APs and the controller. But there is a, so work with D&H, send over, what the exact parts in the actual migration guide. It actually gives you the 7522 replacement is this SKU, right? And we'll work with you to build a replacement BOM and make sure that they have the choice of either XIQ or XIQ controller, depending on it. And Extreme's even willing to, on these larger opportunities, like you say, over 100 access points, they'll actually, if you can send a config, they will actually make sure that whatever the customer's currently using, they will make sure they get it in their new solution, right? And that's the key. So I just popped into XIQ. And if I look up in the top right corner, this is all my apps. So one cloud, right? So what does that mean, right? Well, I have my XIQ, I have my SD-WAN portal, I have my Intuitive Insights, which is, for managing Zebra handhelds. The SD-WAN was that Impanema. So if it's a one single sign-in login, I click into my cloud. I can click into my SD-WAN, I can click into XIQ, or we're about ready to launch the first industry's cloud NAC and ZTNA combined in one. It'll provide a very simple single license across the board, simplest licensing in the industry. So that's the whole cloud, one cloud in there. And then that licensing too, with on top of that, when you look at other vendors, they're going to charge, if you look at Juniper or HP, you have to pay extra if you want some kind of location analytics. Well, with ours, with the pilot license, you automatically get location analytics. So you can actually do everything from see how many customers are repeat or loyal. So small offices just love to actually have this data. And I've looked at other vendors, and they actually will have to go out. If they're looking at Meraki, they'll have to pay a third party to get this kind of data. We're including that in the license, right? with, you can actually build zones and stuff, and you can actually create, so say you have multiple stores, right? And then a bunch of people walk into the building and there's not enough staff. So you can identify how many staff and how many visitors. And then if you get too many visitors in a certain area, it can send an alert and actually bring additional help over to that area, right? With our guests, we can do all kinds of analytics, and we can tell you if they put in we can go back to gender, we can go back to age group, we can give them all the simple sign-ons, the LinkedIn, the Facebook, right? A lot of these when they're your WiNG customers, were actually having to purchase the guest license, the location license, the analytics license, and then the net site or the VX1000. They had to buy multiple licenses when they purchased that WiNG product. And then even air defense, which came from the WiNG solution, we included in that, and that's the industry's highest WIPS solution out there. And then the only thing that we charge a little bit extra for is our Copilot, right? And we've been co-developing this with Microsoft for several years, and we released this 2 years ago, and then all of a sudden Microsoft comes out with a product called Copilot, but no shocker. And then it actually it's for your customers that don't have a strong IT staff, right? It goes in and actually makes all that machine learning and it puts it in plain English, right? So and also it actually has like sending an engineer to go to all the different multiple sites and actually test the wired and wireless, and it's going around my house and testing it from a client experience, right? And then it goes into, if it finds any problems, and I've done a good job and I haven't had any problems in a while, but if I go back further, probably could find something. But in here, I had a problem with an access point, and it said, hey, in plain English, it tells you, instead of some kind of networking engineering, mumbo jumbo, right? It tells you, hey, we had too many packet errors, right? And what we should do is you should go to 360 and troubleshoot the clients. And then it tells you exactly where it found it. And then if you need help, it can click the little need help button. And then it has a video or a article on that. And then if you still can't figure it out, there's a button to open up a GTAC case with Extreme, right? So that they will solve it for you. And then if you haven't heard about Extreme's GTAC, but they're one of the best in the industry, higher rated. We hire, the average tenure of our GTAC is 10 years. And you'll find that I've had a lot of customers that have HP and Juniper, and Juniper customers have had good support. Well, now they're getting purchased by HP, right? And are they going to get that same low-level support now with their solutions, right? So you're going to have, the iron is pretty hot to be able to go in and attack those customers because they're scared about what's going to happen with their support. And if you use Extreme support and show them how easy, I even had a partner that would just go out and customer site and pick up the phone and just call GTAC and show them how easy it was to get a support person on the phone, right? So let's pop back into the PowerPoint a little bit, but then again, I just wanted to break this up a little bit. And then again, we talk about how easy our licensing is, right? I just showed you the only thing we charge extra for Copilot, but we have a product called Extreme Cloud IQ Connect. We call it like Fight Club. We don't talk about it, but let's say you have a customer that only has 10 access points or less. Well, we can give you a free version. You don't have to pay for any subscription, but you only get very basic configuration, basic monitoring. But if you're competing against a Ubiquity or something like that, and then they just need a couple APs and a couple SSIDs, and they're just going to set it up, and you're going to set up and configure it, and they're not going to do much with it. Well, you can purchase some of our APs, and they don't have to pay for anything other than maybe support on the device itself, or upgrade your warranty on that. But then the pilot, right? That's our XIQ pilot subscription, right? It gives you all the cool stuff, the machine learning. It makes the workflows. It just makes it simpler. The client troubleshooting, right? So when you have a problem, when that tech has a problem, gets a call from Solly's laptop, right? And how long is it going to take them to troubleshoot that, right? How do they take that machine learning and optimize their network to make it, as the best as possible, right? Well, how do you, when all those, that guest essentials and that air defense and that location, all those business analytics, those are all included in that pilot license, right? And then that's on the pilot, it's all about the machine learning, but the co-pilot is that AI ops, or artificial intelligence operations, right? That when I showed you the connectivity experience, testing it from a client experience before that technician gets a call from the client, finding out if there's a problem and explaining it in plain English, right? And then having the automatic GTAC support. That's the whole benefit of the co-pilot, right? You just got to have a pilot license to get a co-pilot license. So why is it best for your customers to move to XIQ, right? So we have some low cost Wi-Fi 6 APs for their migration, make it simple and easy. If you want to move them and future proof them, you can look at their Wi-Fi 6E, or we even have a Wi-Fi 7. I know it's here already. We have IoT device support, meaning that our APs have BLE or thread monitoring. And again, we mentioned that there's tons of use cases for IoT devices, right? All your customers are starting to put more and more sensors on the network. Our new 5020, the Wi-Fi 7 AP, as the industry's first with dual IoT sensors, and they're software selectable, meaning I can have 2 different functionalities. I can have 4 different options on each IoT sensor, so I can have tons of use cases. And then we're trying to automate it, right? The customers that you have that are using those old VX9000s or the old NX5500s, or even if they have an old RFS 4000 out there, they're spending time managing that network. They're not getting the optimal, they're not getting the new Wi-Fi. They're not going to be able to get software updates. They're not going to be able to get phone support, right? So it's time to migrate. We've been talking about it since 2016, and it's not going to be secure. Our XIQ is the most secure in the industry. You're going to be able to give them cloud-based NAC and zero trust network access, because we're all moving to like more of a hybrid solution. And then instead of having that, they probably squawked at the price of air defense back in the day, but now when they buy that pilot license, they get the air defense essentials. So they get 80% of the full air defense feature set in the cloud included in their license. And again, everybody cares about security, right? As the top of mind by all your customers, right? We give your customer the most options in the industry, where we give you AWS, Google, or Azure. We allow you to have it in a public, private. We even let you take the whole cloud and put it on the customer data center. We're the only one that's ISO certified. We care about your privacy and your data protection, where we allow you to delete certain data if you wanted to. We're SOC compliant. We're working on FedRAMP and StateRAMP. So we're in the process of both of those, working on our FIP certs as well for our access points. So tons of security into our solution, and we're the most secure cloud out there. And then AI apps, right? That it just keep when the co-pilot, right? That network 360 and that client 360, you can actually go in and see, which access points did it roam to, what you get a visualization of you can even track where your client devices are at and see if somebody lost an access point, or lost a laptop or something, or lost a certain IoT device. You'll get that visualization with the machine learning in there. And then the client monitor, it really helps in troubleshooting if there's a problem with the network, right? And it just saves time when your network admin gets that call and just needs to solve a problem quickly. So here's how you do it, right? So here's our list of our value, mid-tier, and premium access points. So in our value, anything with a 3 is in our value. So we have a wall plate. We have our 305C and CX. X means external antenna. The APs in blue are on special promotion and are very aggressively priced. And we're going to talk about that on the next screen. But those are our Wi-Fi 6, and anything with 4 digits, that's our Wi-Fi 6. And then we have one Wi-Fi 7 AP down here, the AP 5020. And then we have the outdoor 5050 that goes in, it's a large stadium, a Wi-Fi. And then, the promotions, right? So that you have a customer, they need an access point. They only need a few access points, right? Under 10. Well, we have those the two AP305C or the 410C around 80% off, 75+% off. They don't even need to purchase the Cloud IQ subscription. They can get that. If you need to get an AP to your tech, that's another great option. They can get the AP. We can get your tech some licensing. They can get in and manage and look at Cloud IQ, connect their AP, and play around with it and get familiar with it. Because once they see it, they'll love it, right? And then you have any new opportunity, right? New business. Or if you have a WiNG customer that's, I'm not ready to, I'm worrying about the price to migrate. Well, we're giving those 305Cs and 410Cs for free. All they have to do is buy subscription. Meaning that if you buy if you sell the customer a 3-year subscription, you'll get an AP 305C for free. If you buy a 5-year subscription, you'll get a 410C for free. Then we have professional services for a single site, up to 100 access points. It's really reasonable. It's remote implementation. It's around $1,800 list. And again, if you've never done it before, it's great that if you have a large customer that has multiple sites and one site's under 100, you could do that. If it's over that, or, you can still work with our team and we can design some other solutions, but it's a single site for up to 100 APs, one SKU. Make it easy for you. And then we have different leasing and subscription options, right, to make the change the CapEx to OpEx, right? And then let's finish it at home right here. So how do you beat the competition, right? If you look at the latest Gartner report, we moved all the way up to number 2 behind Juniper and HP, right? And they're about to become 1. And there's a lot of angst and the customers. If you look at the Juniper and Aruba, there's 44 switching product lines, 29 of them overlap. They have duplicate of APs, which if they buy a wireless solution from either one of those vendors, you don't know which one you're going to get, right? And then if you look at the Juniper or HP licensing, they have a license for analytics. They have an analytics. They have this, if you need a WIPS license, or if you need a security license. We've won tons of deals by just getting down into the licensing of these competitors, right? And Juniper doesn't even have a 7 AP. And the other thing too, a lot of our APs don't require the new high PoE++, we only have one access point that'll make them replace their switches, and that's Wi-Fi 7. That's the high-end one, right? Where all the other competitors, if they start replacing their access points, they might start need to replacing their switches. So those can add all this additional costs. And then I even looked at Cisco, and the max that they can do is like 10,000 APs per customer. So that's not a whole lot. But anyway. And then they have no third-party support, right? So you can get third-party visibility in the cloud and third-party management with our XIQ site engine. But we could spend hours. And then, again, with the HP and Juniper, you don't know if they're gonna, which AI is gonna win. Is it? HP bought Juniper for the AI, but they just told everybody they're moving to Green Lake, right? So, and I tested all their mobile apps, and there's nothing like our mobile app. Ours is more than just onboarding the app. Ours can actually give your engineers and the customer the power of the full cloud in their hand and on their phone. And that's kind of the whole one network solution, right? And so as we wind this down here, right? So these are just 3 big customers that we won, but again, Extreme, those 6,000 customers out there, they're customers from 2 access points all the way up to 140,000 access points. But if you look at our last Extreme Connect conference, that was our technical conference. The CEO of Kroger, he'll get you fired up. It's the largest cloud deployment out there with 75,000 access points. It's one of the largest, grocery stores in the United States. They do electronic shelf labeling, right? We talked about the IoT sensors for the food, right? They're going in overnight, replacing all the wireless, and the next day, those WiNG APs get taken down. They put back up with the new ones, and they flip the switch, and everybody comes in, and everything's faster. Everything works smoothly. They haven't had any hiccups at all. Loudoun County, I did a little research, but 70% of the internet traffic goes through Loudoun County. They have a data center row where Amazon, Azure, and Google all have their data centers up in Loudoun County. They replaced all their WiNG solution with Extreme and provide Wi-Fi all the way from the urban farms, rural areas, to the large data center areas, right? And then Landmark, right, at 2,300 stores in 21 countries, primarily out of the Middle East. They migrated 20 of their stores and already been upgrading all their. It's a lot faster, And one of the other, we actually won as from the United States, Tangier Outlets is all on Cloud IQ as well. They're not a old WiNG customer, but they're a big outlet store, and I shop there a lot. And the Wi-Fi, that outlet store saw all the business analytics that they got out of XIQ, and made the switch, and just a no-brainer for them. So as we finish up, right, just to recap, right, to migrate them to the WiNG, if they need 6 gigahertz, and that's the latest, greatest Wi-Fi technology, they're going to have to move to XIQ or XIQ controller. And they're already an Extreme customer, so you might as well keep them on Extreme, right? If they want IoT support, right, you're going to move them over to XIQ or XIQ controller. If they want that location or security management, right, you're going to move them over into XIQ or XIQ controller. To be able to give them that instant onboarding, to be able to replace the old WiNG access point, put the new access point in there. It connects to the internet. It pops on, it refreshes. And then there's a lot of our APs are also universal as well. So you can there's some guides. So some of your customers may have some older universal APs or core APs, and they'll be able to just reuse them depending on their migrate path, right? Because we're really trying to make it automated, right? With the client 360, they get all the insights into what's happening in that client, and it really just provides a better user experience for the clients. Because, you know, the most important thing for your customers is how good the Wi-Fi is working. How can their either customers or how can their employees have a better experience on the Wi-Fi, right? And then how can we secure them from from a local or a hybrid with our universal ZTNA? That'll actually, it makes it like the customer has the same, that the employee logs in from remote or in the office, and they get the same experience, the same applications, application access, right? And then it's about saving money because we have those low cost APs with the promotions, right? And the cloud, you don't see all the hidden costs of actually having to upgrade your VMware server, upgrade have a pair of virtual machines or appliances running on the customer site. Somebody has to patch it, right? Trying to keep track of that licensing. Is this license going to expire? Is that one going to expire? Do I need to renew the license for this AP or that switch, right? We have one license basically for all of our solutions, right? So that they don't have to worry about that. And then they can mix and match those migration options. So we give you that. We're not going to just make them rip and replace everything and just start over, depending on what they have, right? If they've been holding and dragging their feet forever, then it's probably time to replace everything, right? But if they've been slowly adding newer solutions, then we can move what they bought newer and move them into Cloud IQ and replace their old APs that are due for a replacement, right? And so I really appreciate everybody's time, and we're going to open it up to Q&A right now. Stop sharing.
Hey, Chris, I don't see any other questions coming through. Yeah, Nate, keep going, man.
Oh, no, for sure. Hey, I just wanted to say, Chris, thank you so much for that. I think that was a really comprehensive kind of overview of both the benefits of Cloud IQ and then hearing what it means for our customers here at D&H that might have some of that legacy hardware that they're looking to move to Cloud IQ. So here again, thank you so much for taking time out today, Chris.
Well, thank you for giving me the opportunity. I really appreciate it. I'm passionate about this.
Yeah, I mean, just to echo that, I mean, I'm seeing a lot of the folks that are here on the call and a lot of these reseller names I've known from my Cisco days. And listen, it's a great product, but, it can be complicated. As you said, Chris, you mentioned HP, Aruba, and Juniper, and what's going to happen with, their technology, with the acquisition going on right there. So, we think we're positioned really well right now. We've been around for over 20 some years. As you mentioned, we've bought some of this technology from other companies to really get us to where we're at today. So again, you go with what I said earlier about that theme of simplicity and flexibility. Chris mentioned this multiple times, but our universal licensing is really attractive for a lot of our customers, as well as our cloud management platform gives you that simplification, because a lot of your customers are struggling with time, budget, and resources, and Extreme can really check a lot of the boxes for them. So my last parting words is that at any time, if you need us to jump on a call with you, your sales team, your technical team, meaning for your resellers, more than happy to do that and have an open dialogue. We could get into more specific trainings you like, and then also to support any customer calls. We're here for both sales and technical, so don't feel like you're on your own. So again, Chris, great job. Thank you so much, Nate and D&H team. Thank you for the partnership.
Yeah.
From my side, thanks again.
100%. And I'll just leave everyone in closing real quick here. Easiest way to get a hold of us, right? Super hard to remember. extremenetworks@dnh.com. So we can handle any sales inquiries, customer assistance, technical assistance requests. All of that can kind of come through extremenetworks@dnh.com. And then we have a team here of both technical and sales-facing resources to assist all of you to help grow the business, right? And then likewise, we have tons of counterparts in partnership with Extreme Networks where we need to escalate requests and work in collaboration to kind of help you guys meet your customers' needs. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day.